Sunday. It's the very first Sunday of 2021. And you're here with Lisa Eflin. Lisa's Changing Perceptions. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Pete. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good. And I'll speak on behalf of everybody else. Good. I'm just going to make that leap.
You are.
Yeah.
You're going to take that leap of faith that
I'm going to take
good.
that. Yeah, everybody's good. It's 9:00 on a Sunday. What do you have to be bad about?
Well, I am really sleepy.
I'm always sleepy. But yeah.
I will say, just for the record, Pete gave me some of this Death Wish coffee that I have vowed not to drink because I didn't want to like it. And I love it.
For everybody who gets it. And it's just black. I put nothing in it.
That's the thing, is that anybody who knows me knows I'm a cream and sugar girl. I'm a large coffee from McDonald's, 4 creams, 2 sugars. Like I'm a cream and this is black, and I actually do like it, and it's very good coffee. And now I'm mad you gave it to me because I'll end up getting some.
Yeah, hashtag Death Wish Coffee Company. Love this stuff. You guys are welcome to promote the show if you'd like. I love this stuff, and the problem is, I love this stuff, and I'm just going to claim that I love it, I enjoy it, and I'm thrilled with it because I've only had 3 bags of it. Now this stuff does run $20 a bag, and it's just what a pound, 2-pound bag of coffee. It's just your regular ground coffee, but it's 20 freaking bucks a bag. All 3 bags I have owned have been gifts to me.
Oh, there's a blessing.
Yeah. So that's people have gifted me $60 worth of this stuff, and it's absolutely wonderful. I'm
thinking maybe to have it tucked in the cabinet for those days when it's a necessity. I don't know that this is really necessarily the best daily coffee thing for somebody who drinks as much coffee as I do.
And Anita Overby says it's the bomb. It is. Anita agreed 100%. So what's up today? Well, no.
I kind of
let's do our housekeeping first.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot.
Sorry.
I got to do this.
Our
first.
lovely host, our sponsor.
Lovely, the Bremer team, Keller Williams, North Shore West, supports Lisa's Changing Perceptions. Dawn Bremer, the leader of the Bremer team, Keller Williams, North Shore West, can help you with all your real estate needs. BremerTeam.com, 847-456-6334. Call Dawn, tell her that Lisa and Uncle Pete, of course, says she'll do everything she can to help you have a great experience, whether you're buying or selling your home. And she will. She'll say, "Oh, those guys, they're awesome." Of course. So there you go. We've covered.
That was fabulous,
Pete.
Folks, so. And I'll cover business. I'm Lisa with Lisa's Changing Perceptions. I'm a hypnotherapist and self-empowerment coach. You can reach me at lisaschangingperceptions.com, lisaschangingperceptions@gmail.com, or on Facebook under Lisa's Changing Perceptions, or as always by phone or text at 262-573-7055. And we decided to do a what not show or why not show today, just because there's been a lot of different experiences, and I've gotten a lot of phone calls. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the holidays and the new year, people looking for that new thing to try, thing to do.
Yeah.
So some things have come up, and I figured we'd go in and talk about those. And then if anybody has any questions or things about past shows that they missed or had a question about a past show, just ask them. Today's kind of a free for all. We'll go with it. And as always, Pete and I will probably get into some conversation about stuff. But first off, I want to cover 2 things. They're common questions or common problems, I guess I'm trying to solve. One is, yes, I do smoking cessation. No, I do not do the 1 hour smoking cessation. My smoking cessation program is 6 weeks long. The reason is, smoking for the vast majority, is an attachment addiction, an association addiction, meaning that you attach smoking to different daily activities that you do every day. You can't say if you quit drinking, you don't go to the bar. If you quit doing drugs, you don't go near people with drugs. You can avoid those things. But with smoking, you can't avoid getting up and say having your morning coffee, even if you change it to tea. You know what I mean? Like, you can't avoid getting in your car and driving. You can't. I'm a smoker. I admit that. You can't avoid answering your phone. You can't avoid the things that you have attached and associated smoking with.
You can avoid answering your phone. People get
not
upset
if you want to have
when
friends, which will then
well,
make you depressed when you lose all your friends, and then you'll smoke. So stop it, Pete.
Okay.
But it's an association addiction. So the reason I do it over 6 weeks is, and this is what most smokers like, the first week you don't even try to quit. What I do is we break it down, we talk together, everybody's individual when it comes to their smoking and what they've associated it with the strongest. And we actually make a list of things. When do you smoke? What is your trigger to smoke? When is your enjoyment to smoke? And then we determine, ranking each thing 1 to 10, their priorities, their importance, and how difficult they would be to quit. And the first week is a little longer session, just like with most things, because we have to kind of make a plan. But then each week, we gradually change something about the way you smoke, and then we take away another time or two that you've associated it with until we get to week 6 when you do quit. But the difference is that over those 6 weeks, you've deassociated smoking to your daily habits. So it's not that, oh my gosh, I got up this morning and this is when I do this, and now all of a sudden I can't. And a lot of times when people quit smoking, the biggest fear is, I don't want to feel that. Here's the reality. The nicotine withdrawal only lasts a few days. It's our mental association to smoking.
I quit smoking cigarettes actually about 20 years ago.
Right.
And I do remember the first few days were a bit,
because that's when your body is physically, it is an addictive drug. So it is when your body is physically withdrawing from it. That it only lasts that few days. The rest of it is the mental association.
And that was much more pleasant.
A choice.
Yeah. Because I got to a point where climbing 2 flights of stairs, I had to sit down for a while.
Well, and that's usually, sadly, when most people decide that that's time. And but people ask me about it, and there's a couple things I can't do with it.
And good morning, Kent, by the way.
Good morning.
Says good morning and Happy New Year 2021. Let's crush it. And Kent says smoking is much cooler than vaping, though.
Leave it to Kent. There you go, bud.
Well, yeah,
there's a whole debate about that, but we'll do that on a different show. But yeah,
coolness.
There's a whole debate about the health of that.
Yeah. Either you're cool or you're not.
I'm just cool smoking or not, Kent, just for the record. I can't help it that you need a safety factor for it.
Yeah, but hey, I feel like hey, I'm so cool. I just don't need anything.
That's because you drink this coffee.
It is.
But yeah. I can't do a couple things with it. One is I can't give you the will to quit. So those of you who contact me about it, and you contact me about it because your family won't shut up, and so you want to shut them up by quitting, the odds of your success are not huge. I cannot will you to do something.
No.
I realize I deal with the subconscious. I realize the hypnotherapy. I get all that. And there is hypnotherapy involved. Actually, with each session every week, we do a little more hypnotherapy to go deeper and change that unconscious thought process. I cannot will you to quit, period. I cannot make you go home and follow the program. And I do the 6-week program, and occasionally, and I've had one recently, somebody will call and go, but I don't want that. I want the 1 hour thing. Okay, then find someone who does the 1 hour thing. Well, there are people who do the 1 hour session.
Oh, we're going to get you to stop smoking in 1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour or less, or your next session is free.
And I actually had somebody call me, and this is a true story, and I'm not making fun of them because I know it's the mindset and it's what the norm is. And people don't understand why I do 6 weeks over the 1 hour, the one hit wonder is what I call it. Is I had somebody call up and ask about smoking cessation, and I explained I do a 6-week program. I make sure people understand before they come in the office. I never want somebody to feel trapped. And she said, I don't want that. I want the 1 hour thing. It's what worked last year. Huh.
It's what worked last year. Oh, okay. Huh. We'll get right on top of that then.
Right. So then why are you calling me? And that was my response.
Huh.
And I never heard from her again. She was offended. I wasn't trying to offend her. The point is, really stop, replay, rewind, repeat what you just said.
Yeah.
Let's do that again.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for the 6-week program. So for those who listen or those who call up and ask me, I explain it little more detail than I just did now, but the synopsis is I don't do the 1 hour thing. There are people that do, and there are people that have had great success with that. If that's what works for you, rock on, go do it. I cheer you. Truly, anybody who quits smoking, and I am a smoker, so I tell you that wholeheartedly. Anybody who quits smoking, great. I don't offer it. I don't intend to offer it. I don't find it to be something that works long-term as easily or as effectively. So we're going to cover that. 2 is, and this is, we're going to Pete and I will get in a conversation a little bit about manifesting, because I do believe in manifesting, except on the days that I have an attitude problem.
Yeah.
And Pete, you laugh like that's regularly or something.
Well, I mean, your attitude is what it is. So I think your attitude is really only a problem for those around you or you who decide to accept it as a problem. I've never really had a problem with your attitude.
Well, but you're not with me like 24/7.
No.
So everybody who is around me that much, pipe down and save the comments. They're not allowed to be made. For those of you who do know. But lately, I am very well aware of what's going on in the world and in society, and we're not going to get into all that on the air. But my struggle has been, and I've been arguing with Spirit of, I am very proud of what I do. I have had great success with clients, with what I do. I am outside the box with it. I'm pretty open to go, let's just delve in there and get her done, But I also know that it's not cost effective for the average person. I get it. I'm living in this world with all of you. Everybody's struggling right now. Mm-hmm. So I kept, okay, Spirit, tell me, show me, how can I make this more cost effective for people and still survive? Because I know that people need me. I hate that guilty thing. Don't ever do the guilty thing to me of, you know how to help me and you're not willing to just because of money. I can't call the electric company or my landlord or anybody else and say, but I'm a nice person. So we're going to stop that now. I don't want to hear that comment. People used to say it to me when I did readings too. It's like, well, you're paying for God's, you're charging me for God's gift. No, I'm charging you for my time. The gift is a bonus. We're just going to go with it that way. if that's how you want to look at it.
That's actually a good way to look at it. Because I have often struggled with that one myself on the whole psychic stuff thing. Mm-hmm. Because there are things that people have said, hey, why don't you do this? And I was actually once told I think I told you this before, 10 some odd years ago, 10, 11 years ago, by a woman who was doing a tarot card reading. And I thought, oh, this will just be amusing. And she didn't know anything about me, like nothing at all. And she said, well, once you actually start using your ability to see the things you see and hear the things you hear, you're going to start making money hand over fist. And I'm looking at her thinking, okay, I don't think that'll ever happen, because I had the same problem answering people's questions. Well, how can you, if this is a gift from God, how come you're charging?
Well, I'll tell you, I used to, because
that's a good way to answer that for a lot.
Yeah, you're not paying for my gift, you're paying for my time, and the gift is a bonus shared during that time. And the other thing, my response was, well, everybody has a gift. So let's just exchange energy then. Are you good at cleaning? Because I really, really hate to clean my house. So if you would like to exchange your energy and time doing something I need, I will exchange my energy and time with you doing something you need. Well, I don't want to come clean your house. Right. You just want something for free. Like, so don't guilt me. You know what I mean? It was kind of that kind of thing. Don't guilt me. That was years ago when I used to do more readings. I don't do readings like I used to. I still do them, but I don't advertise them like I used to, just because I would rather, to me, a reading was kind of a temporary fix. Some people, it really hit home and it did what they needed, but the majority of it was usually, in truth, some girlfriends having wine. They thought it'd be fun. Let's do this or that. And it's kind of a temporary rush for a week or two. And then you're kind of stuck back where you were before. So when I found the hypnotherapy and the different techniques that were used for that, I thought, this is for life. Like, this is something that somebody takes with them forever. And believe it or not, I do mix the two of them up a little bit. But I was asking Spirit, how do I make it more cost effective? People are struggling. I mean, we're all one of them. I don't know anybody who, other than, the small list of corporations, that isn't struggling in some way, shape, or form from what's going on in the world right now. And I didn't know how to do it. because I do have bills to pay, but yet I do want to help people. And funny enough, this is how manifesting works. People think that manifesting means that like some big lighted figure comes in front of you and hands you the golden ticket. That's usually not the case. And within a week, a friend of mine that I've known since junior high school called me and said, will you do a group session via Zoom? And I went, hey, yeah, I will.
There's a way.
Right. So I'm doing it is a reading event. Actually, I'm going to do individual readings, but it did give me the idea. So I'm throwing this out there for those of you who listen and say, I can't afford it. I wish I could do some of the stuff with her. I see what she does with people on the air. My sacrificial lambs that I love so much that have been on the air. If it is something you are interested in, I am going to start setting those things up. So those of you who are Zoom technology familiar, I am not one yet.
I'm learning it.
Yeah, I'm just starting to tap my toe in. But if it's been something you want to do and you have a group of family and friends that would like to do some of the techniques, some of the biofeedback, I can't do hypnotherapy, obviously, via group, but I can do things like that with you. I can even do past life regressions via group.
That would be cool because you can even do, if you can do it by Zoom, you can do it through this. Because we can actually send people a link to your show and have them come in and they'll be talking directly with you. Okay. Right here, right now.
Well, I would do what I'm trying to do is do it where I'm doing 5 to 10 people at a time.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, in the future, we could say, hey, we're going to do one of your shows. We could do it that way. And also in Zoom, just so you're aware, once you get pretty technically savvy with it, you can do what are called breakout rooms. So you can have someone
that's what they're doing with this party
you.
I'm doing.
Yeah. And so then they'll break them into a room with you and then you can do the thing. So that's actually pretty cool. But we could actually even do that on the show. To show how it works. To show how it works. So yeah, that actually is something we could do.
So just throwing that out there, that to me is manifesting. And that's kind of why I did the show. Why not? Figured we'd talk about these different things. And some people say that's not manifesting. That was coincidence. Anybody who knows me really well knows that I do not believe in coincidence. I just don't. It's not in my fiber anymore after all the things that I've seen over the years. So for me to be wondering that so greatly and ask to be shown kind of what to do with that. And this person that I've known since junior high school to all of a sudden pop up and ask me, and bless her heart, she happens to be very Zoom savvy. So she is the one helping guide me through it a little
awesome. That's cool.
If you've been watching the show, if you've got friends and family around the country, or in truth, because it's technology around the world, that it would be something fun to do as a group, please contact me for that because the price per person would drop drastically. It will be based on how many people are attending, but the price per person would be dropped drastically. So that was kind of part of my answer so far as to how to solve that, because I do have people contact me and they just can't afford it. And I do understand that, and it does bother me. So I've been looking for the thing, the fix to that. Again, we can't do private bio or hypnotherapy with that. I'm not going to delve into people's, core skeletons in a group. And I can't really do that. I can't do that as a group because everybody's issue is going to be different. So there's a different technique to help, deal with that. But I can do things like biofeedback, past life regressions, energy understanding, the stuff like I did with Anita when she was on the air, back when Sandy was on the air. We can do things like it's called anchoring, but there are several things we can do. So if you're looking for a way, first off, people are bored and it's cold here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are closed, so there's not a lot to do. And people are feeling, excuse me, I do not have the Rona, I have allergies. People are feeling disconnected. Get a hold of me and discuss those things with me. And I'm kind of open to talking about, the different things that you'd like. So that was a money saving thing that came to me. And I wanted to make sure that I got it out there today, especially with, frankly, the new year. Yeah. Here, and it's like January, February, March in the Midwest, especially, is even without lockdown. I mean, it's cold. You don't want to go out there. There's not so much
cold.
To do.
You don't want to go anywhere. You're kind of in a lot of people at the beginning of the year, it seems, are in a bit of a bummer mood. I think that might be different this year because people are tired of being in a bummer mood. It
Well,
seems.
that's part of why I've been asking them, because I get a
Yeah.
lot of people who are either suffering from anxiety, from feeling this is never going to end and this is my life, feeling that kind of anxiety, or people in truth that are the opposite. They're going the opposite end of the spectrum. They're becoming very depressed and saying, why bother? Why bother caring? Why bother doing this? This is the way it's always going to be, because they feel like it's a never ending cycle. In truth, we all know this is not a never ending cycle. The discomfort is coming from nobody feeling sure what the outcome of this is going to be and what changes are going to be. And nobody likes change. And regardless of the outcome of the current situation, change has happened.
Yeah.
The world is different. People are different. And that is causing a discomfort that many people are associating with a political party or a neighbor or a school or whatever. And it's not one individual thing. It's the world has changed and none of us like change. Now we find ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. And when we're in these uncomfortable situations, and that's why I'm getting more calls and more questions, is that when we're a little more secluded and our energy is bouncing back and forth, I know I find myself sometimes depressed, sometimes anxiety, sometimes fine. And it's like kind of a roller coaster. Some days I even wake up with the mood that I don't even know where it came from. Actually, funny enough, part of the reason I'm so tired today is I actually did get some sleep, but I don't know what I was dreaming about, but I woke up laughing. Like I woke myself up laughing really hard.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I was like, that's really weird. So I was up at 4 instead of 5 and I'm tired, but these changes and the moods and the changes. And if you feel you have a mental health disorder, I suggest you contact a mental health professional immediately. For those of you who have never suffered from such a thing and all of a sudden you're finding a discomfort you don't understand, the changes can be causing those things and we don't even realize it. And then when we're in a secluded situation, or right now, in truth, in the past, if you felt that way, you might tell a loved one in the house or, a family member close to you or a friend close to you. But because part of the dynamic that's happening, that's causing this distress, is a very conflicted situation amongst families and friends and people. So if for some reason you were feeling very strongly about one side of a situation, and maybe the rest of your family isn't, but for you, it's a core, real fear, belief, whatever it is, and you don't have anybody to go to, you're feeling isolated. You're feeling, locked in. So this can cause more emotions, causes more conflict. And it's also, here's what we really don't like, forcing us to look at ourselves. Why do I feel this way? What's making me feel this way? Why does this bother me so much? Why? All these whys. And all those whys, why is this happening? Why does this make me feel this way? Why am I doing this? All these whys are breaking the shells. Everybody's shell's getting broken a little bit and people are getting uncomfortable. And so that was kind of the conversations I've had with people and the self-realizations people are coming to. We've always talked about look in the mirror and that's a really hard thing. And what I'm finding is that many people are almost like getting shoved in the mirror and held there. Okay, you didn't want to do it the nice way.
You didn't want to do it the nice way.
So
we're just going to come up behind you, grab you by the neck and hold you there.
Right. Until you look at yourself. Yeah. And there's no escaping it. Like I've told everybody before, I go to the woods and then I find the nature and the peace and it kind of brings me back into balance. But I have become accustomed to and comfortable with kicking my own ass when need be. So I can find that balance a little faster. For somebody who's new to that, or this is a new experience to them, or they're kind of getting held in front of the mirror saying, look at yourself. What do you want to change? Quit blaming everybody else and look in the mirror. That's an incredibly uncomfortable thing. And oftentimes they don't know how to ask. Yeah. That's something that some of my clients that come to me have gone to other types of therapies for a while. And I don't really consider myself a therapist. I just happen to be a hypnotherapist. That's what it's called. But I don't have a psychology degree.
Well, by the way, Sandy says good morning. Sandy
good morning. Gibson. But building a rapport with people is one of my, I don't know what you would call it, natural talents. Regardless of your background, regardless of your personality, regardless of how powerful you are or how weak you feel, I tend to have a knack with building rapport with most people, except for people who refuse to face themselves and try to hide. And it's funny because I don't even confront them. And there's something about the energy of that is very, very, very uncomfortable. I don't know why it is. I would never intentionally make somebody feel small. Well, if I'm mad, all right. But like if I'm feeling like I have to defend myself, but in a normal situation and conversation, I don't do that. It's not my goal, but there's a discomfort there. But everybody's feeling discomfort. And I even had a conversation with a lady recently, kind of as a favor to a friend that had somebody that needed somebody to talk to. And I was talking to her and I kind of got her in a quiet place and I got her relaxed. And I ask a question. One of the questions that I do as I'm helping people pull this stuff up is I said, okay, you're relaxed and you're safe and you're calm. Are you willing to allow your unconscious mind to let go of this and your conscious mind to be aware of it? And without a thought, she took a breath and said, no. I said, okay. She goes, wait a minute. That's not true. I want to stop this. I said, no, you don't. That unconscious allowing. And she goes, but that means I'm going to have it forever. No, it doesn't. It means that right now in this moment, there's a reason you're not ready to let it go. Don't shame yourself for that. Yeah. Accept that that's what it is. And she goes, now what do we do? I said, we find out why. Why aren't you willing to let it go? What are you afraid of will happen to let go? And we dug deeper and we dug a little deeper and we dug a little deeper. And all of a sudden, I don't ever tell anyone what to think. My words usually are like, have you ever considered? Or kind of a lot of seed planting. And over time, they kind of get it themselves. But as we got down a little bit deeper, all of a sudden she went, oh my God, I remember this, this, and this. That makes sense. I get it. I would be afraid. And I go, okay, that's fine. Now let's go back to breathing. And I got her back to calm. And I asked the exact same question again. And without even a hesitation, she said yes.
Well,
okay, good. Sometimes those things are how it works. And the reason I'm explaining that is because I love a good self-help book, people. I truly do.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah. I find them intriguing. I don't agree. I did not say I agree with all of them. I do love to read them. But here's the truth. When you're incredibly uncomfortable, screaming rainbows and butterflies is not going to change it.
No.
It's not going to change it. So whether you delve in deep, whether you just start picking the shell off little by little, that's totally up to you. Nobody's ever going to force you not to.
No.
But this discomfort that everybody's feeling is a normal state for self, first off, when we have to evolve. And secondly, the whole world around you is feeling it at the same time, and it sucks.
Oh.
It's just the bottom line.
I will say that there are a couple of self-help books. There's only one, and here's what drives me up a wall. Number one is there is no such thing as self-help. There is just help. Because if you did it yourself, you didn't need the help. So they are help books, right. Help you books.
Right.
But and that little gem comes from George Carlin. He did a whole bit on self-help, which there is no such thing as, and there really isn't.
I agree, because that's part of the reason people ask me, why do you call yourself a self-empowerment coach? Why don't you call yourself a life coach? Well, I can't coach you on your life. No. I don't know your life. I don't know every thought you have. I don't know every experience you ever have. I don't know every single thing, why you think and do the way you do. I can empower you with tools. I can empower you with knowledge. I can empower you with compassion. I can empower you by being a tool that works with you, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
One of my big examples I use all the time is I can give you the wood, I can give you the nails, and I can give you the hammer. If you don't get up and build something with it, you got a pile of crap.
You do.
That's it.
And they're the only one that I really, truly enjoyed. And it's a tiny, very short little book. And it's called The Dao of Pooh. And it's about Winnie the Pooh and the characters in it. But it is interesting in that it takes you through all the characters, their outlooks on life, and how Pooh actually brings out each one of their talents and their focuses.
To allow them to
And
see.
and while he's wandering around just being I'm a little black rain cloud to get the honey that he wants, because hey, this is just the way life is at the moment. He's a very much in the moment kind of
Right.
calm little character, and it's a very enjoyable book. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but it relates to Taoism, and it's just fun. If you get the chance, go get it. It's probably on Amazon or somewhere else, but it's the Dao of Pooh. The other actually was, and I won't name the book because I'm going to say that this is one that I was a ghostwriter for. So I cannot tell you the name of the book because of me saying that, but I enjoyed the interaction with the author of that book because it brought me to understand how to ask certain questions of myself. And one of them that I absolutely love, and still to this day, absolutely love, and my daughter still does this question, is when you're in a situation and you just don't know why, don't know how, have a problem, an issue, whatever it is, if you ask yourself, if I knew the answer, what would it be?
I did that. That's part of the neurolinguistic programming. That's part of it. Because the truth is, we have the answers within us, and I know how cliche that sounds, but we do. Our gut instincts are something.
Kent says, but wait, Pete. When someone asks for a beer at my home, I say, sure, help yourself. I can't say that anymore, he asks. No, technically you cannot, because you can say, go get one.
But then the beer is not helpful.
But they are.
The beer is not helpful.
The only help would be as if you got it for them, or you gave them direction to where the beer is located. You could say, certainly, I can help you with that. It is located over there. You may go get one for yourself.
And like that, you're right. You can read a book and the book can help you, but the self is still separate, because you can read the book, you can get the tools, you can come to my office, you can get the tools, but if you don't do something with them, they're pointless.
Yeah, they're pointless.
So in my view, self-help is making the decision that you need to go find something to help you. That's your self-help.
Yeah.
That's your first step. That's what something's triggering you inside to say, I need to do this. Something's going on. I need to do this. And yes, that is a question that I ask them when I can't get somebody when somebody hasn't really narrowed down what it is. And we talked about this on the air before, is people come in and I'll say, what is it what is it you're coming to me for? What is it that you're looking for? And they'll say, peace and happiness. And honestly, every time, tell me what that is to you, because your idea of peace and happiness and my idea of peace and happiness don't mean it's not the same thing.
Two completely different things.
And they'll go, well, just to be calm. No, we're going to go bigger than that. Tell me what peace and tell me. You picture your peaceful life, and what is that?
Yeah.
You picture feeling happiness.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, which for the record is impossible to feel happy nonstop. So people stop.
Yeah, that'll mess you up.
Yeah, it'll just defeat you.
Kent does say, go get one. It is. My perception has been changed. I love this show. There you go. Lisa's changing perceptions.
I am so glad you will offer people a beer in a different way because of this show, Kent. My mission is complete, and I can just know that I can retire and move to the next thing now because Kent has learned that. I'm so grateful for him.
Well, I guess you won't be a ghost or a spirit then, and because you have no unfinished business, because Kent now says, go get one.
That's right. I've completed my task. My life chart's over. Now I don't know what to do. I'm going to be stuck now.
No, we can keep going with the show.
I'm going to be stuck now forever. But my point being is that there's never a fear to it. There's never a reason why not to. And I had a friend call me who was struggling with a problem that they had years ago that all of a sudden it has resurfaced. And I said, tell me about it. What does it do? Like, what part of your life is it? And their response was, it's a daily thing. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily battle for me. And I've always won, but now I've lost. Like now it seems to be winning. And I said, oh my gosh, that is so sad. I think that's so sad. And she said, well, I said, to have a daily struggle. Do you know how exhausting it is? How absolutely exhausted it is to fight and struggle and hide? And all of it. how exhausting to battle that. And she said, well, how else do I do it? I said, what if you just sat down and you accepted it was a part of you? It's a part of your thinking. It's a part of your coping skills. It's a part of you. And you just went, yeah, that's a part of me. Wow. What if you just accepted yourself? What if you weren't so exhausted defeating this thing every day, constantly? For the record, it was not a chemical issue, and meaning it was not an addictive chemical in any way. So I just want to make that very clear, because there's a difference there when your body is requiring something versus a coping skill. And I said, what if? Are you less of a person? You've had it all these years. It has been a part of you. What if you just said, this is a part of me, and you just accepted it, and then you breathe? And then as you realized, yeah, it is a part of me. It's a little tiny part of me. But this is a part of me, and 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 all these are parts of me. Then all of a sudden, when you can do that, good and bad, when you can do that and you can break it into those little pieces, all of a sudden, if you were to take say you take a piece of paper and tear it up into a bunch of little pieces, and on each thing you write a truth, this problem or whatever, and, this other problem or whatever, and then you wrote your good things, because believe it or not, we all have them. We all have good things too. Mm-hmm. And you had all these little pieces of paper, and you wrote one on each one, and then you laid them out on the table. What do you have? Do you have the big page that says, this is my thing that's wrong with me? Or do you have a whole bunch of little things that, wow, that's already broken down a little different? And then you can go, you know what? These are all a part of me. All these little tiny pieces are a part of me. And no piece is really that much bigger than the other unless I make it bigger than the other. All right, you know what? That is a part of me, but so is this. I'm going to look at this one today. So I said, what if you woke up every morning, and rather than saying, I'm going to have to beat this again today, you woke up every morning and said, I'm very proud of the strength I've had not to have to worry about those things anymore. Mm. I'm going to go out today and find something fabulous I love to do. I'm going to go out and accept the fact that I make somebody smile, or that I accomplished a task, or whatever it is, versus waking up and the first thing you do when your eyes pop open is go, here's what's wrong with me. I'm going to conquer it. And that becomes the energy of your day. And it was funny because they were very teary and said, I absolutely positively never even considered that. I said, well, I've always told everybody I'm not a psychologist. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying that if it were me, that's what I would do. The focus, like we talked about with New Year's resolution, do we have to accept that we have flaws? Yes. And believe it or not, I know this will shock everybody, I have some.
No.
I have some flaws, just for the record. And if we stop fighting them, because think about when you're married. So to think about when you're trying to debate something with your spouse, okay? And I know your wife, so I know that you guys are both strong-willed people, okay? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to debate something with your wife. When you sit at the table and you argue about it and you want your side heard, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Here's the interesting thing, though. I'm kind of a bad example to use, because both of us are very, like you said, strong-willed people, but it means that we're very direct about things that bother us, or issues that we perceive, or things that we feel strongly about. So there's really no...
But that just means that what you have is a relationship where someone is more bendable than the other person. Because two direct people who want something, I'm talking about the arguments when one's dead set on one thing and one is dead set on the other, and there's no budge. I only see it how I see it, and this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
So that's what I'm talking about. Right. You're more flexible.
I'm going to say I'm the more bendable, and sorry, but if she happens to be listening, which I don't think she is, but
right, that's all that means, is that there's one person more bendable.
I'm the more bendable, because sometimes I'm just like, is this the inside? I think, is this the hill I want to? Right. Is this the hill I want to die on?
Right.
Nah,
pick
not
my
really.
fear, choose my battles person, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But two people who are dead set, if you are arguing, say, let's pick something silly, just not to get into too deep. There's a project to be done around the house, and one is adamant that you don't do it, and one is adamant that they do, and they both have their reasons, and they're absolutely going to lock horns, and you sit at the table and you argue about it, It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's
absolutely exhausting. But if you can take a breath and walk away and stop and go, I know this person. I've heard what they said. I heard why it bothers them. Let me look at it from their perspective as to why they might see it that way. You might not change your opinion, okay? You might still really want it. But when you step back and you kind of take a breath and you go, you know what, I'm just going to accept that that person has that quirk or that thing that's causing them to feel that way. And I'm going to accept that. And I'm not going to change my point of view because I really want to do the project. Okay. We're just using that as an example. Yeah. I really want to do the project, but I see why they see it's a problem. I can understand why they see it's a problem because I've looked at it from that perspective. So I'm going to come and approach it with them. And what happens? I'll guarantee you of this. It's human nature. You sit down and you go, listen, I understand why you feel the way you do. I understand why it's bothering you. If I understand correctly, this is what I'm thinking you're feeling. This is why I feel the way I do. Can we find a middle ground or can you understand it? Can we just go ahead and do it because this is how I feel it? That approach will win. But here's what happens. The first conversation is mentally and physically and emotionally exhausting. And then you end up angry. And then what happens when we're angry about one little thing? Every little thing becomes the war.
Yeah.
And the second approach says, I took time to look at you as real. You have this weird quirk that's not allowing me to do what I want to do. But you know what? You have all these 100 other things about you that I love. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to find a compromise here because this one little thing isn't worth 100 other things that are great. Right? So I'm going to see you differently. Yeah. That's what you would do. How is that different from doing that for yourself? I have this thing. I have this problem. Why am I only focused on this one negative thing? I have all these 100 other things too. So when you can break it down and go, you know what? Yeah, this ticks me off or this really bothers me. This is a thing I don't like. But here's all these great things I do like.
Yeah.
It's no different than that conversation. Have that conversation with yourself. Accept that it's part of you. Accept that it's just part of the package. Now, if it's something unhealthy, that's harmful, you really want to quit it. I'm not saying not to. I'm not saying give up the fight to not do it. My point is that when we're fighting it because it's our focus and our biggest focus, it's exhausting mentally, physically, and emotionally. When we look at it as only a part of the puzzle and we step back and we accept it as just a part of the puzzle, all of a sudden, it's much less difficult. It's no longer our focus, our obsession to stare at. So it's much easier to go, you know what? Yeah, that's bothering me right now. But it's really something I know about me. I'm going to go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to make the choice not to do that. And I'm going to go do these things because you're seeing the big picture versus that thing. And it is the same. So for all you spouses out there that are going to try a new technique, you're welcome because it's going to work. But my point in using that example was to say that you can do that for yourself, is to just step back and go, okay, why? Why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? This is a part of me. I can't change it. The same way there are certain things. As much as we would like to believe we can change a spouse, you're not going to. They may choose to change because they like the environment it creates with the change, but no one can force another human being to change. So anybody who thinks I'm going to get them and I'm going to change them, you're not. You may build a relationship that's strong enough that they choose to change because the outcome of the change is worth it. Nobody changes for any other reason. Period.
No.
No self-help book, no guru, no anything. Nobody chooses to change for any reason besides the fear of change has become less of a fear than the unknown of what happens afterwards. Now, somebody chooses to do that because of another human being, and that human being has influenced them. Beautiful. That's a fabulous thing. But they still have to make the decision to make the change.
Yeah.
So no one changes another human being. We can influence, we can guide, we can have tools, we can do all those wonderful things and be the shining stars of the world that we choose to be. But every human being has to get past my fear of change has become less than my fear of the unknown. So another way to put it would be, My fear of living this way for the rest of my life has become greater than my fear of change. Then they make the choice.
Yeah, you're right.
And the truth is, when you start to get that gut feeling, that inkling, if you push it down, cool, you made the choice to push it down. If you look at it, cool, you made the choice to look at it. Neither one is actually right or wrong, because it's whatever you're at, whatever place you're at in the moment. Sometimes we push it down far enough, in my personal belief, and I've seen it happen over and over and over again for myself and for others, is when you push it down enough, the universe steps in and goes, all right, listen, we've about had it, and you don't listen to a whisper and a kiss on the cheek. So here we go. Game on. We are going to get your attention right now. Yeah. And I have seen that. And then, but what that's doing, and it's funny because I do believe the universe helps us to do that, but what that's doing is forcing the discomfort to be enough that now the change is not so scary, it's worthwhile. It's pushing us in that direction. Even when we say the universe had us do it, we had to have the internal struggle to make the decision, to make the choice. And, some people say, well, no, like we had Garth on here, and he was very open to say that he quit drinking when his wife left him.
Yeah.
Did his wife make him quit drinking? No. His decision to change came when the discomfort became greater than the fear of the change. He still had to make the internal choice. Right. You still have to make the internal choice and make those decisions and all those influences. And my question always is the name of the show today. Why not? Why not just ask yourself, what will it hurt? Even when people say, well, why would I want to connect to spirit, or why would I want to do hypnotherapy, or why would I want to risk that you're going to put me under hypnosis and make me bark like a dog? Why would you? I don't know. Why not? What's the worst thing that'll happen?
Yeah.
In most cases, the worst thing that'll happen is nothing.
Pretty much.
I've told people, well, things about connecting with spirit or asking for guidance or what have you, prayer, whatever. Just I let them know how I do things or whatever. And I'll go, here's the greatest part of it. You can think I'm nuts. That's fine. You won't be the first. You won't be the last. I'm kind of good with it now, whatever. Mm. You can do it quietly in your head and no one will ever know. So then my question comes, why not? Nobody will ever know. What's the worst thing that could happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So for 2021, with all the chaos going on, that's my question to you. Why not? What is really going to happen to you? What are you so afraid of? What's really going to matter if you say a prayer or ask a request? Where people get defeated with that is then the ego and pride comes in and says, but I said this prayer that I wanted this, and it didn't come out exactly like I wanted. Okay, it's prayer. You're not manifesting yourself to be God or spirit or whatever it is.
Right.
You're making a request. And my personal belief is that they know what's better for us anyway. So when something doesn't happen, I piss and moan. Absolutely. Oh my God. I am the first one to admit I've gone, really? Had a fit. But then when I kind of chill and get past my ego and my pride that made my demand, I'll just say, I know you have a plan that's greater, and I'm angry right now, but please keep showing me. Do I say, I'm so sorry? No, because you know what? I was pissed off. And that was real. So I admit I'm angry about it. I don't like that I didn't get my way. I'm kind of my toddler having a tantrum right now, but I am willing to still hear you and move forward. I accept that as a part of me. I want my way and I didn't get my way. I want it how I want it. I didn't get my way. And I'm learning how not to be that way. But most people who say I tried prayer or I tried this or I tried that or I tried this technique and it didn't work. It didn't work, so I didn't do it. No, it didn't come out how you expected it to come out, but it was new to you.
Right.
So how can you have an expectation? You can't have an expectation. If you have an expectation, it's a false expectation. Because without having the experience to know what a common or repeated outcome is, your expectation is a false expectation because you have nothing to do with it. You have no recall as to why you feel it should turn out that way, besides your big fat ego telling you that that's what you want.
Right.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Because you can only have expectation that's real Doesn't mean it's right, but real expectation, when you've had a repeated pattern telling you that this is the way something's going to turn out. Then you can have disappointment.
Yeah, which guess what, folks? That's called the scientific method. When you have a repeated pattern that generates the same results, you've used the scientific method, and you can base your hypothesis upon that.
But that's expectation, and
it's expectation.
That's a reasonable thing to think that you have that expectation.
Yeah, because there are things that work for me.
That can promote disappointment.
There are things that work for me, and we've talked about before. There is a mindset of, when you talk about manifestation and mindsets and certain things, there's a thing that I call unexpected income. That's what I call it. It's when financial gain or reward come to me in unexpected ways. And it's something that I put myself in every now and then, and it just seems to work. What truly is probably happening is I just open myself up to opportunities that I normally otherwise would not see or would not be open to, because I normally
you decided it was going to be a certain way, or it had to be a certain way.
It had to be a certain way. But when I remove that, it must be this way, and just say, hey, I'm open to unexpected income.
Right. And what you did is you took that.
I'm grateful and thankful and receive it right now. Then, Buddha boom.
You put your ego and your control aside.
Yeah.
Because we all have ego and control. All of you that say I don't have any control issues and I don't have any the fact that you think that is one in itself.
Yeah.
So BS. I'm going to call BS on it. But when we can set aside our control of something, and we can set aside our ego that says how it has to be, how it has to turn out. And that is actually a difficult lesson I'm learning in life right now, because I had a picture of how this is all new to me. I ran animal hospitals.
Yeah.
This is all new to me. And I had a picture of how it was supposed to be and how it was going to play. This is how, because I said so, this is how I feel it's going to be. And it's not quite going how I wanted. And so then I'm like, oh, assholes, what are you doing? What I need you to do? And I'm having this fit, and they're kind of teaching me little lessons, which that could be a show in itself. But they're kind of teaching me little lessons, and I'm learning to go, but Lisa, do you want to control this? They're proving to you can't. And who decided that that's how it had to be? Well, your big fat head did. So how about you set that aside and see how that works? And most days I can. And then some days I go into my old habits of, no, I don't want to do that. And then I've learned to ask myself, why do you want to do this? Because I'm afraid if it doesn't turn out my way. What if I have a loss? What if I lost something because it didn't turn out my way? Okay. Well, you tried that a whole bunch of times, and all that happened is you ended up 10 steps backwards. What if you didn't try to control it and it turned out 100 times better than you ever expected? What if?
Yeah.
So that's an ego pride thing that we all go through, and people are really struggling with right now with the current events happening is, what if it doesn't turn out exactly how I believe it would and should, and the only way that I see it? And it's causing what? Panic. Here's the bottom line. And I do have a point of view on this, but the truth still is, it's going to turn out however it turns out. If you lock yourself into only seeing it one way, or the apocalypse, you will miss every opportunity around you. Why? Because you're only focused on the apocalypse. So when I say you manifest money and unexpected income, what my opinion is, what really happens is that you're setting your ego and your control aside and going, you know what? I don't know how it's going to come, but I know I need to do this. I know this needs to come in right now. It's a true need for me. And that's probably when it happens, is when it's a real heartfelt situation where it's need.
Yeah.
And so you put your control and your ego aside because you feel defeated and you don't know what to do. And that's usually when we set our control and ego aside. Some people call it surrender, Mm-hmm. And then what's happening is, I do believe the universe helps us, but that also what happened is all of our walls went down. So if we have this, okay, because we want it this way, and then we and they can't see me. That's so funny. There's people in there. I'm blocking my eyes like a horse.
Right. Yes. Everybody. She's demonstrating. She's like her hands like the blinders on a horse.
Right.
So, yeah.
So if I'm doing that, I can only see exactly what's in front of me. But if I set down ego, right hand, control, left hand, all of a sudden I can see what's on this wall, and I can see what's on this wall, and I can see what's on this wall. So what do I have? I have more opportunities that are around me. Because when I only had my blinders on, that I had to control it to be exactly how it was, and my ego says it has to be exactly how it was because Lord knows I know everything, then I could only see exactly that.
Right.
So when we can set them down, we take them down, right hand, left hand down, all of a sudden I say, but I don't just have Pete to look at and talk to. I could go over to this dry erase board and I could draw a demonstration and move the camera to that.
You actually could, yeah.
Right. I could go over here and I could present the 216 the net thing, and I could, I forgot to hang up. Oh, piano is there. I forgot to hang up piano.
No, he's there.
Or I could turn on that television. Or you know what? That television's big, and I could put 5 different faces up there on a Zoom thing, and I could talk to them while I was there. To see what happened? Just in that split second of me going hands down.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, there's all kinds of new things I can do on the show now. Yeah. I can show people how to do this. Opportunities have arisen.
Yeah.
That's how life works too, when we can step outside of our ego and control. That's how much time do we have? Let's see.
We got like about 3.5 minutes.
And then the other real quick thing I'm going to do, because I can be able to demonstrate, there's not enough time. People are feeling like they're not enough to an extreme in this moment, which is kind of what this come from. What I want you guys all to do, and we'll talk about it in the next couple of weeks, if you guys will bring them to the show and then comment and chat or even call in or whatever, is I want you to make a list, and I want you to write friend on the top. I would take a piece of paper, and across the top, I want you to make rows. I want you to write friend, partner, so spouse, whatever it is, partner, child, parent, and worker, whether it be student or a job, across the top of that piece of paper. And then in the columns going down, I want you to be real, and you can do it over time, over weeks, it doesn't matter, just add to it. In each column, I want you to write what your expectation of yourself is to be the best of one of those things, as well as what you feel society's expectation is for each one of those to be the best of those things. And I want you to create those columns. And if you guys will do that, and bring them to the show and either call in, or if you'd like to come into the studio with me and do it with me, that's great. Or chat, however you want to do it. We're going to have a really big conversation about that piece of paper that's going to make people say, holy crap.
That's cool. That's a good idea. So you can do that next week?
If they bring it.
Bring your papers next week, folks. Not your papers, but write your columns down and write your expectations of what you think those are.
And if anybody would like to join us on the air to
Absolutely.
do it with us,
you can call in. Also, if you want to be on, if you've got a really good internet connection, a very good high-speed internet connection, mic and camera, I can send you a link. We can actually pop you right in on the video portion of the show.
And I will even get past my phobia and allow the Jumbotron to be on if people want to come in via webcam.
That's a big deal. That's kind of
that
cool.
is huge. Just for you guys, that's conquering a really big thing to me.
Yeah. You've only done that twice before.
Right.
So
it's something I have to focus on being okay with.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. Well, we've got about 1.5 minutes. So one more time, I know your information has been scrolling at the bottom, but how do they reach you if they'd like to work on whether it's smoking or any other issues that they'd like some help with, some hypnotherapy with? What
Lisa's Changing Perceptions.com, Lisa's Changing Perceptions at gmail.com, Lisa Changing Perceptions on Facebook, or you can always call or text 262-573-7055, or of course you can go to 216thenet.com and Pete will get me any messages or emails that come through. And we should probably mention our lovely friend, the Bremmers.
As a matter of fact, we can do that right here, right now. Lisa's Changing Perceptions has been brought to you by BremerTeam.com, 847-456-6334. The Bremer Team, Keller Williams, North Shore West, they bring families home. And we thank them very, very much. And again, I suppose then, what is that? Is that going to be next week at 9 a.m.? We're going to go ahead and say so long until then. Thank you all so much for joining us here today.
Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great, fantastic, wonderful day. We'll see you then.
Now that awkward minute.
It is. Always that awkward minute.
It truly is.
So.
I should get up and do a song and dance.
Well, for some reason, my sound thing ain't working.
And they're hearing us have this conversation.
They are.
So
They are. They're all hearing us have this conversation. The sound is decided, the playout has decided not to work. So, la, 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 la.
So when you guys come on and
La,
I'm
la,
laughing
la.
before the show starts, this is the kind of stuff that's taking place before.
La, la,
And
la.
that's why.
We're playing Lisa out. Thank you all for hanging out. It was an awesome show, but now we gotta go. So we will see y'all later. And this is why I don't get paid to sing. Take care, y'all. Next time.